lighthouse beyond the moonlit bay. Tonight, as you rest comfortably in your bed, imagine standing beside a quiet ocean under a sky full of stars. The air is cool and gentle. A soft breeze moves across the water, carrying the peaceful scent of the sea. Far away, across the moonlit bay, a small lighthouse shines with a warm golden light. Its beam slowly turns in a calm circle, watching over the sleeping coastline. A young traveler named Oliver sits quietly on an old wooden dock. He listens to the gentle sound of waves touching the shore. Everything feels calm and safe. As Oliver gazes across the water, he notices a tiny glowing lantern floating on the sea. Soon another appears, and then another. The lanterns drift silently toward the lighthouse, like little stars dancing upon the water. Curious but relaxed, Oliver stands and begins to follow their peaceful path beneath the moonlit sky. Following the lanterns, Oliver walked slowly along the sandy shoreline, watching the glowing lanterns drift across the quiet bay. The moon hung high above, painting a silver path across the water. Each lantern moved gently with the waves, never rushing, never stopping. Their warm golden light reflected softly on the calm sea. As he continued walking, Oliver heard the soothing sounds of the night. Crickets sang in the tall grass. Gentle waves rolled onto the shore. Somewhere far away, an owl called softly from the trees. The path led him toward a small wooden bridge that crossed a peaceful stream. Tiny fireflies floated above the water, blinking like tiny stars. Oliver paused for a moment and took a deep breath. Everything felt calm, warm, and safe. Beyond the bridge, the lighthouse shined brighter than before, and the lanterns continued their silent journey, guiding him farther into the peaceful night. After crossing the little wooden bridge, Oliver found himself standing at the edge of a quiet forest. Tall pine trees stretched toward the starry sky, their branches swaying gently in the cool night breeze. The glowing lanterns floated onward, leading him along a narrow path between the trees. Oliver walked slowly, listening to the peaceful sounds around him. The leaves softly rustled above. Somewhere nearby, a small stream trickled over smooth stones. Everything seemed to move in a slow, relaxing rhythm. Moonlight filtered through the branches, creating silver patterns on the forest floor. Tiny rabbits rested beneath bushes, and sleepy birds tucked their heads beneath their wings. As Oliver continued deeper into the forest, he felt lighter with every step. The worries of the day seemed far away now. Ahead, through the trees, he noticed a warm golden glow. The lighthouse was closer than ever before, and the lanterns continued to guide him quietly through the pea. The forest path slowly began to climb upward. Oliver followed the lanterns as they drifted toward a gentle hill overlooking the bay. The night air felt cool and fresh against his face. Step by step, he made his way to the top. When he finally reached the hill, he paused and looked around. The view was breathtaking. Below him, the ocean shimmered like liquid silver beneath the moonlight. Thousands of stars sparkled above, their reflections dancing softly upon the water. The lanterns floated peacefully across the bay, glowing like tiny golden stars. Oliver sat down on the soft grass and listened. The wind whispered through the trees. The waves rolled gently against the shore. Far away, the lighthouse beam turned slowly through the darkness. Everything felt calm. Everything felt safe. For a few quiet moments, Oliver simply watched the stars. Then, with a peaceful smile, he stood once more and continued following the lanterns toward the warm light of the lighthouse waiting in the distance. As Oliver walked down the hill, he arrived at a quiet shoreline where a small wooden boat rested beside the water. lanterns floated gently farther out into the bay, their golden lights shining softly in the darkness. The little boat rocked slowly with the waves, as if patiently waiting for him. Oliver stepped inside and settled comfortably onto the smooth wooden seat. A gentle breeze moved across the water. The boat drifted quietly away from the shore. Above him, the stars sparkled like tiny diamonds across the night sky. The lighthouse glowed warmly in the distance, growing a little closer with every passing moment. Surrounded by peaceful water and soft moonlight, Oliver felt completely relaxed as the boat carried him silently across the calm bay. Across the quiet bay, the little boat glided smoothly across the calm water. Oliver leaned back and watched the moon shining high above. Its gentle light covered the bay in a blanket of silver. Around him, everything was peaceful. The waves softly lapped against the side of the boat, creating a slow and comforting rhythm. The glowing lanterns drifted ahead, lighting the way toward the lighthouse. A few seabirds rested quietly on distant rocks, already asleep for the night. Oliver took a deep, slow breath and listened to the sounds of the sea. The cool breeze felt gentle and soothing. Far ahead, the lighthouse beam turned slowly through the darkness. With every passing minute, the warm golden light seemed brighter, welcoming him closer through the calm and sleepy night. As the little boat continued across the bay, Oliver noticed a gentle movement in the water nearby. A friendly dolphin appeared beside the boat. It swam slowly through the moonlit waves, its smooth back shining like silver beneath the stars. The dolphin seemed calm and happy. For a while, it traveled alongside Oliver, keeping him company on the quiet journey. The waters sparkled softly around them. Above, the stars twinkled peacefully in the dark sky. Oliver smiled and watched the dolphin glide effortlessly through the sea. Everything felt unhurried and relaxed. After a few minutes, the dolphin gave a gentle splash of its tail and swam toward the open water. Oliver waved goodbye as it disappeared into the shimmering moonlight. Ahead, the lighthouse continued to glow warmly, waiting in the peaceful night. As the boat drifted farther across the bay, Oliver noticed a small island ahead. The island was covered with tall grass, gentle wildflowers, and a few quiet trees swaying in the night breeze. The glowing lanterns floated past the island, lighting the shoreline with a soft, golden glow. Oliver guided the little boat toward a tiny wooden dock and stepped onto the island. Everything was wonderfully peaceful. The grass moved softly beneath the moonlight. Tiny fireflies floated through the air like drifting stars. Oliver walked slowly along a winding path, listening to the gentle sounds of nature. The island seemed almost magical, as if it belonged to a beautiful dream. In the distance, the lighthouse beam continued its slow, comforting circle, shining across the calm and sleepy sea. Following the winding path, Oliver arrived at a beautiful garden hidden in the center of the island. The garden was filled with moonflowers that glowed softly beneath the silver light of the moon. Their petals opened peacefully in the cool night air, spreading a gentle, sweet fragrance. Oliver walked slowly between the flowers, careful not to disturb the quiet beauty around him. Tiny fireflies floated above the garden, blinking softly like golden stars. The night felt still and calm. He sat on a smooth stone bench and listened. There was only the gentle whisper of the breeze and the distant sound of waves touching the shore. For a few peaceful moments, Oliver simply rested. Then he stood again and followed the lanterns, which continued to drift toward the lighthouse waiting beyond the island. Leaving the garden behind, Oliver followed a quiet path that led toward the far side of the island. The lanterns floated ahead, glowing softly in the darkness, like tiny golden guides. Soon, he reached a narrow stone walkway stretching across the water. Beyond it stood the lighthouse. Its warm golden light shone peacefully across the bay. Oliver stepped onto the walkway and moved slowly forward. The sea below was calm and still, reflecting the moon and stars like a giant mirror. A cool breeze brushed gently past him. With every step, the lighthouse seemed brighter and more welcoming. The lanterns gathered near its base, their lights dancing softly in the night air. Oliver felt completely relaxed and peaceful. Ahead, the lighthouse door stood open, inviting him inside to continue his quiet journey through the sleepy night. Oliver gently stepped through the open lighthouse door. Inside, everything was warm and peaceful. A spiral staircase curved upward toward the glowing light above. The walls were smooth and white, and small lanterns rested on wooden shelves, filling the room with a soft golden glow. Oliver began climbing the stairs slowly. Each step felt calm and easy. As he climbed higher, he could hear the distant sound of the ocean below. The waves moved in a slow, comforting rhythm. Round and round the staircase went, higher and higher. At last, Oliver reached the top. Large windows surrounded the lighthouse room. Through them, he could see the moonlit bay, the sleeping island, and the endless sea beyond. Everything looked quiet, gentle, and perfectly peaceful beneath the stars. At the top of the lighthouse, Oliver discovered a small, cozy room beside the shining lamp. A soft chair sat near the window. A warm blanket rested neatly on it. There was also a small wooden table with a steaming cup of herbal tea. Everything felt calm and welcoming. Oliver sat in the chair and looked out across the moonlit ocean. The lighthouse beam turned slowly, sweeping across the water in a gentle rhythm. Far below, the glowing lanterns drifted peacefully across the bay. The room was filled with quiet warmth. The sound of the wind outside was soft and soothing. Oliver wrapped the blanket around his shoulders and took a slow, deep breath. For the first time all night, he felt completely at ease, surrounded by peace, comfort, and the gentle glow of the lighthouse. As Oliver rested in the cozy chair, he noticed an old book lying on the wooden table. Its cover was deep blue, decorated with tiny silver stars. Curious, he opened it carefully. Inside were stories of peaceful journeys across calm oceans, quiet forests, and moonlit valleys. Each page seemed to glow softly in the warm light of the lighthouse. Oliver slowly turned the pages. He read about gentle breezes, sleepy villages, and travelers who wandered beneath star-filled skies. The words felt calm and comforting. Outside the window, the ocean continued its slow rhythm. The lighthouse beam turned quietly through the darkness. As Oliver read, his eyes began to feel heavy. The peaceful stories filled his mind with warm and happy dreams. Everything around him felt safe, quiet, and wonderfully relaxed. After reading for a while, Oliver gently closed the book and walked to the large lighthouse window. The night sky stretched endlessly above him. Thousands of stars sparkled softly, filling the darkness with tiny points of light. Some stars shone brightly, others twinkled gently in the distance. Oliver rested his hands on the windowsill and gazed upward. The sky felt peaceful and endless. Below, the ocean moved slowly beneath the moonlight. The waves rolled in a calm rhythm, like a gentle lullaby. A cool breeze brushed against the glass. Everything seemed perfectly still. Oliver watched the stars for a long time. The more he looked, the more relaxed he felt. It was as if the entire world had become quiet. inviting him to rest, dream, and drift peacefully into sleep. As Oliver gazed at the stars, he noticed a small, fluffy cloud drifting gently past the lighthouse window. It moved slowly across the sky, glowing softly in the moonlight. Soon, another cloud appeared, then another. They floated peacefully above the ocean, like silent ships sailing through the night. Oliver imagined himself resting on one of the clouds. It felt soft, warm, and comfortable. The cloud carried him gently across the sky. Below, the ocean shimmered with silver moonlight. Above, countless stars twinkled quietly. There was no hurry, no noise, only calmness. The cloud drifted farther and farther through the peaceful night. Oliver felt lighter with every moment. Surrounded by moonlight, stars, and gentle breezes, he simply relaxed and enjoyed the quiet voyage through the endless sky. As the soft cloud drifted through the peaceful sky, Oliver looked down and saw a beautiful valley below. The valley was covered in rolling green hills that shimmered softly beneath the moonlight. Small streams wound gently through the grass like silver ribbons. Everything seemed quiet and still. The cloud floated lower, carrying Oliver above fields of wildflowers that swayed softly in the night breeze. Tiny lights flickered among the flowers, like little stars resting on the earth. The air felt fresh and calm. Oliver listened to the distant sound of flowing water. It was slow and soothing. The valley seemed like a place made entirely of peaceful dreams. As the cloud continued its gentle journey, Oliver felt more relaxed than ever, surrounded by silence, comfort, and the soft glow of the moon. The cloud drifted slowly beyond the valley and came to a wide, peaceful river. The river sparkled beneath the moonlight, flowing gently through the sleeping landscape. Its surface looked like liquid silver. Oliver watched as the water moved quietly around smooth stones along the riverbank. Everything felt calm and unhurried. The cloud floated lower, allowing him to hear the soft murmur of the flowing water. It sounded like a gentle lullaby carried by the night breeze. Along the banks, tall willow trees swayed slowly, their branches touching the water. The stars above reflected in the river below, creating the feeling of two peaceful skies. Oliver smiled softly. The cool air, the quiet water, and the glowing moon filled him with a deep sense of comfort as the cloud continued its gentle journey through the night. Beyond the moonlit river, the cloud drifted over a wide and peaceful meadow. The grass moved gently with the breeze, creating soft waves across the field. Wildflowers rested quietly among the tall green blades, their petals closed for the night. Everything below seemed deeply asleep. A family of rabbits rested beneath a small tree. Nearby, a deer lay peacefully in the grass. Even the breeze seemed slower here. Oliver looked across the meadow and felt a wonderful sense of calm. The moon spread its silver light across the land, making everything glow softly. Above him, the stars continued their silent dance across the sky. The cloud floated slowly onward. There was no destination to reach, no rush at all, only the peaceful rhythm of the night, carrying Oliver gently through a world filled with quiet dreams and endless comfort. As the cloud drifted beyond the sleeping meadow, Oliver saw a gentle mountain rising in the distance. Its slopes were smooth and peaceful beneath the moonlight. The cloud carried him slowly upward along the mountainside. Cool, fresh air surrounded him. Tiny pine trees covered the hills, standing quietly beneath the stars. Everything felt still. Everything felt calm. Near the top of the mountain, Oliver heard a very soft echo carried by the breeze. It was not loud or surprising. It sounded more like a distant whisper floating through the night. The echo blended with the wind, creating a soothing melody. Oliver listened peacefully. Far below, rivers shimmered like silver ribbons. The sleeping meadow looked small and quiet. The cloud continued its gentle climb until it reached the mountain peak, where the stars seemed brighter than ever before. The starry summit. At the top of the mountain, the cloud came to a gentle stop. Oliver stepped onto the soft grass of the summit and looked around. The view was peaceful beyond words. In every direction, he could see rolling hills, quiet rivers, sleeping forests, and the distant ocean shining beneath the moonlight. Above him stretched a sky filled with countless stars. They sparkled softly, like tiny lanterns hanging in the darkness. Oliver sat down and listened to the silence. It was a comforting silence, filled only with the gentle whisper of the wind. The cool night air felt fresh and relaxing. For a long while, he simply watched the stars. They seemed calm and steady, shining patiently over the world below. As Oliver rested on the quiet summit, he felt completely peaceful, as though the entire night was gently inviting him into a deep and restful sleep. The stairway of starlight. As Oliver rested on the starry summit, he noticed something beautiful appearing in the night sky. A pathway of soft silver light seemed to stretch from the mountain peak toward the stars above. It looked like a gentle stairway made of moonlight and stardust. The glowing steps shimmered quietly in the darkness. Oliver stood and slowly walked toward them. Each step felt light and peaceful beneath his feet. There was no effort, no hurry, only calmness. As he climbed higher, the world below became smaller and quieter. The rivers, forests, and hills faded into a soft blanket of silver and blue. Above him, the stars shone brighter than ever. The cool breeze carried a feeling of comfort and wonder. Step by step, Oliver continued upward, surrounded by moonlight, silence, and the peaceful beauty of the endless night sky. The garden among the stars. The stairway of starlight carried Oliver higher and higher into the peaceful night sky. Soon, he arrived at a beautiful garden floating among the stars. Soft silver flowers covered the ground, glowing gently beneath the moonlight. Their petals shimmered like tiny crystals. A calm breeze drifted through the garden, carrying a sweet and soothing fragrance. Oliver walked slowly along a winding path. The stars around him sparkled quietly, lighting the way. Everything felt weightless and calm. There were no sounds except the gentle whisper of the breeze. The garden seemed endless, stretching softly into the distance. Oliver paused beside a small fountain made of shining moonstone. Silver water flowed peacefully from its center. As he listened to the gentle sound of the fountain, he felt completely relaxed, surrounded by the quiet beauty of the stars. The Fountain of Quiet Wishes. Oliver sat beside the moonstone fountain and watched the silver water flow gently into a small glowing pool. The water moved slowly and peacefully, creating soft ripples that shimmered beneath the starlight. Tiny lights floated above the surface like drifting fireflies. They rose gently into the air and disappeared among the stars. Oliver listened to the soothing sound of the fountain. Each drop seemed to fall in a calm and steady rhythm. The peaceful melody made the entire garden feel even more relaxing. A gentle breeze moved through the silver flowers nearby. Their glowing petals swayed softly in the quiet night. Oliver closed his eyes for a moment and simply listened. The fountain, the breeze, and the distant stars blended together in perfect harmony. Everything felt warm, safe, and peaceful as the night carried him deeper into a world of of gentle dreams. The silver butterfly. As Oliver opened his eyes, he noticed a beautiful silver butterfly floating above the moonstone fountain. Its wings shimmered softly, reflecting the light of the stars around it. The butterfly moved slowly through the air, never rushing, never making a sound. Oliver stood and watched as it drifted between the glowing flowers. The garden seemed even quieter now. The silver butterfly paused on a flower petal for a moment before lifting gently into the air again. It glided along a peaceful path through the garden. Oliver followed at a relaxed pace. Above them, countless stars sparkled in the endless sky. A soft breeze carried the sweet scent of moonflowers. Everything felt calm and dreamlike. The butterfly continued its gentle journey, leading Oliver deeper into the beautiful garden where silence, comfort, and peaceful dreams filled the night. The lake of endless reflections. The silver butterfly drifted quietly through the garden until it reached a peaceful lake. Oliver followed and stopped at the water's edge. The lake was perfectly still. Its surface reflected every star in the sky so clearly that it seemed like another universe resting below. Moonlight shimmered softly across the water. Not a single ripple disturbed the reflection. The silver butterfly floated above the lake for a moment before disappearing gently into the starlit distance. Oliver sat beside the shore and gazed into the calm water. The stars above and the stars below blended together beautifully. A cool breeze brushed across the lake. Everything felt slow, quiet, and peaceful. As Oliver watched the endless reflections, his eyes grew heavier. The calm water seemed to invite him to relax completely and drift deeper into the comforting embrace of sleep. The boat of moonlight. As Oliver sat beside the lake, he noticed a small boat resting near the shore. It was made of smooth white wood and glowed softly beneath the moonlight. The water remained perfectly calm. The little boat gently rocked back and forth, as if inviting him aboard. Oliver stepped inside and settled comfortably on a cushioned seat. Without a sound, the boat began to drift across the lake. The stars reflected all around him. It felt as though he were sailing through the sky itself. A cool breeze moved softly across the water. The gentle motion of the boat was slow and relaxing. There was nothing to do, nothing to think about, only the peaceful rhythm of the lake. As the boat glided silently forward, Oliver felt lighter and sleepier, carried gently through a world of moonlight, stars, and endless calm. The tree of gentle light. As Oliver followed the winding path through the island of quiet stars, he arrived at a magnificent tree standing in a peaceful clearing. Its trunk was wide and strong, and its branches stretched gracefully toward the sky. Tiny golden lights glowed among the leaves, like hundreds of sleeping lanterns. The tree radiated a soft, comforting warmth. Oliver walked closer and sat beneath its branches. The grass was soft and cool beneath him. Above, the glowing leaves swayed gently in the night breeze. A few silver lights drifted lazily through the air, moving as slowly as dreams. Oliver leaned back against the tree and looked up. The stars sparkled through the branches. The gentle glow of the tree filled him with calmness. Everything felt safe. Everything felt peaceful. And as the night grew quieter, Oliver rested beneath the tree of gentle light, surrounded by warmth, silence, and endless comfort. The golden owl. As Oliver rested beneath the tree of gentle light, he noticed a soft golden glow among the branches above. A beautiful owl sat quietly on a nearby limb. Its feathers shimmered with warm golden light, and its eyes reflected the stars. The owl looked calm and peaceful. It did not speak. It simply watched the quiet night around them. Oliver smiled gently. The owl spread its wings and glided silently through the air. Not a single sound followed its flight. It circled slowly above the clearing before settling on another branch. A leaf swayed softly in the breeze. The stars continued to twinkle overhead. Everything felt perfectly still. Oliver watched the golden owl for a while longer. Its quiet presence filled him with comfort. Together, they enjoyed the peaceful silence of the night beneath the glowing tree and the endless sky beyond. The meadow of floating lights. After spending some time beneath the glowing tree, Oliver continued along the peaceful path. Soon, the trees opened into a wide meadow bathed in soft moonlight. Hundreds of tiny lights floated gently above the grass. They moved slowly through the air like glowing feathers carried by a gentle breeze. The meadow shimmered with quiet beauty. Oliver walked carefully among the floating lights. Some drifted close to him before gliding away again. Their warm glow created a calm and dreamy atmosphere. The night felt softer here. The breeze was gentle. The stars above sparkled quietly. Oliver paused in the center of the meadow and looked around. Every direction was filled with peaceful light. There were no sounds except the whisper of the wind. Surrounded by floating lights and moonlit grass, Oliver felt wonderfully sleepy and completely at peace. The bridge of quiet clouds. At the far end of the meadow, Oliver noticed a beautiful bridge made of soft, glowing clouds. The bridge stretched gently across the night sky, shining with a pale silver light. It looked peaceful and welcoming. Oliver stepped onto the cloud bridge. The surface felt soft beneath his feet, like walking on the gentlest pillow. Below him, the meadow of floating lights glowed quietly in the distance. Above, countless stars filled the sky. The bridge curved slowly through the clouds, leading him farther into the calm night. A cool breeze drifted past, carrying the fresh scent of moonlit air. Oliver walked at an easy pace, enjoying the silence around him. Every step felt lighter than the last. The cloud bridge seemed endless, floating peacefully between the stars. And as he continued forward, he felt himself drifting deeper into relaxation, comfort, and gentle dreams. The Palace of Moonlight. At the end of the bridge of quiet clouds, Oliver saw a beautiful palace glowing softly beneath the stars. Its towers shimmered with silver light. Its windows sparkled like tiny diamonds in the night. Everything about the palace felt calm and peaceful. Oliver walked through the open gates and entered a quiet courtyard. Moonlight covered the stone paths with a gentle glow. Small fountains flowed softly nearby, their waters shining like liquid silver. The air was cool and still. Oliver moved slowly through the peaceful palace grounds. There was no noise, no hurry, only the gentle sound of flowing water and the distant whisper of the breeze. Above him, the stars watched quietly from the dark sky. As Oliver explored the Palace of Moonlight, he felt completely relaxed, surrounded by beauty, silence, and the comforting magic of the peaceful night. The Hall of Gentle Echoes. Inside the Palace of Moonlight, Oliver discovered a long and beautiful hall. Tall silver columns lined both sides of the room. Moonlight streamed through crystal windows, creating soft patterns on the floor. The hall was quiet and peaceful. As Oliver walked slowly forward, he noticed the gentle sound of his footsteps echoing softly around him. The echoes were calm and soothing. They faded away almost as soon as they appeared. Above, sparkling chandeliers glowed with a warm silver light. Everything felt still and comfortable. Oliver paused for a moment and listened. The hall seemed to breathe with a slow and peaceful rhythm. A cool breeze drifted through the open windows. Far away, he could hear the soft sound of flowing fountains. Surrounded by moonlight and silence, Oliver continued through the Hall of Gentle Echoes, feeling calmer and sleepier with every step. The room of quiet dreams. At the end of the hall of gentle echoes, Oliver found a small wooden door. He opened it gently and stepped inside. The room beyond was warm, peaceful, and filled with soft golden light. Comfortable chairs rested near tall windows. Shelves of beautiful books lined the walls. A fireplace glowed quietly, filling the room with gentle warmth. Oliver sat in a cozy chair and looked outside. The stars shimmered above the palace gardens. The fountains sparkled beneath the moonlight. Everything felt calm and safe. The fire crackled softly nearby. Its gentle sound blended with the distant whisper of the breeze. Oliver closed his eyes for a moment and listened. There was nothing to worry about, nothing to do, only warmth, comfort, and peace. The room of quiet dreams seemed like the perfect place to rest and drift deeper into the gentle embrace of sleep. The balcony above the clouds. After resting in the room of quiet dreams, Oliver noticed a pair of glass doors standing slightly open. He stepped through them and arrived on a beautiful balcony high above the clouds. The view was breathtaking. Soft clouds drifted below like a peaceful white ocean. Above, countless stars sparkled across the endless sky. A gentle breeze brushed past him, cool and comforting. Oliver leaned against the smooth railing and gazed into the distance. Everything seemed quiet. Everything seemed still. Far away, he could see the silver glow of the moon reflecting across the clouds. The night felt endless and calm. No sounds disturbed the peaceful silence. Only the whisper of the wind and the distant sparkle of starlight remained. As Oliver stood on the balcony, he felt lighter than ever, surrounded by serenity, wonder, and the peaceful beauty of the sleeping sky. The moonlit swing. At one corner of the balcony, Oliver noticed a beautiful wooden swing hanging from silver ropes. It moved gently in the night breeze. The swing looked comfortable and inviting. Oliver sat down carefully and began to sway back and forth. The motion was slow and peaceful. Above him, the stars twinkled softly. Below, the clouds drifted like a quiet sea of white. The gentle rhythm of the swing felt relaxing. Back and forth, back and forth. Each movement seemed to carry away another thought, another worry, another piece of the busy day. The cool air felt fresh against his face. The moon shone brightly across the sky. Oliver closed his eyes for a moment and listened to the silence. There was only calmness, only comfort. As the swing moved gently beneath the stars, he felt himself drifting deeper into a peaceful and restful sleep. The silver path of the moon. As the swing moved gently back and forth, Oliver opened his eyes and looked toward the horizon. There, stretching across the clouds, was a beautiful silver path made entirely of moonlight. It glowed softly beneath the stars. The path seemed to lead far into the distance, beyond the palace and beyond the clouds. Oliver stepped off the swing and walked toward it. The moonlight felt warm and gentle beneath his feet. Each step was calm and effortless. The night around him was completely silent. No rush, no noise, only the peaceful glow of the moon. As he followed the silver path, the stars above seemed brighter than ever. The clouds drifted slowly below like a quiet ocean. Oliver felt lighter with every step. The path carried him deeper into the calm beauty of the night, where every breath felt peaceful and every moment invited him closer to sleep. The lanterns of the sky. As Oliver followed the silver path of the moon, he noticed hundreds of glowing lanterns floating gently through the night sky. They drifted slowly above the clouds, shining with soft golden light. Each lantern moved peacefully, carried by a calm and steady breeze. Oliver watched them in silence. Some floated high among the stars. Others glided quietly beside the moonlit path. Their warm glow filled the sky with comfort and beauty. The lanterns reminded him of the very first ones he had seen drifting across the bay near the lighthouse. It felt as though they had been guiding him all along. The night air was cool and soothing. The clouds below moved like gentle waves. Surrounded by glowing lanterns and endless starlight, Oliver continued forward, feeling completely relaxed as the peaceful journey carried him deeper into the world of dreams. The Harbor of Stars. Beyond the floating lanterns, Oliver saw a peaceful harbor resting among the clouds. It was unlike any harbor he had ever seen. Instead of water, soft silver mist filled the space between the docks. Instead of boats, gentle star-shaped vessels floated quietly in the glowing fog. Everything shimmered beneath the moonlight. Oliver walked slowly along a wooden pier. The air was calm and cool. Tiny lights reflected in the mist below, creating the feeling of standing between two skies. Not far away, a small bell swayed gently in the breeze. Its sound was soft and distant, a quiet chime that blended perfectly with the peaceful night. Oliver paused and looked around. The Harbor of Stars felt timeless, a place where everything moved slowly and peacefully. Surrounded by starlight, silver mist, and silence, he continued his journey, feeling calmer and sleepier with every step. The Lighthouse and the Stars. At the end of the Harbor of Stars, Oliver noticed something familiar in the distance. Standing peacefully among the clouds was a beautiful lighthouse. Its golden light turned slowly through the night, just like the lighthouse he had first seen across the moonlit bay. Oliver walked toward it along a quiet path of silver stone. The warm glow grew brighter with every step. The air felt calm and comforting. Above him, stars sparkled softly in the endless sky. Around him, the clouds drifted like gentle waves. When he reached the lighthouse, he placed a hand against its smooth white wall. It felt warm and welcoming. The golden beam continued its slow, steady circle across the sky. Oliver smiled peacefully. It felt as though his journey had brought him back home. Surrounded by moonlight, starlight, and the gentle glow of the lighthouse, he felt ready to rest completely. The Room of Endless Calm. Inside the lighthouse, Oliver found a quiet room unlike any he had seen before. The walls glowed with a soft golden light. Large windows looked out across an endless sea of clouds and stars. In the center of the room stood a comfortable bed covered with a warm blanket. Nearby, a small clock ticked slowly and peacefully. The sound was gentle and relaxing. Oliver walked to the window and gazed outside. The stars shimmered softly. The clouds drifted lazily through the night. Everything moved in a calm and unhurried rhythm. There was nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. His journey had carried him through forests, rivers, mountains, gardens, and skies full of wonder. Now, all that remained was rest. Oliver sat quietly for a moment, breathing slowly and peacefully while the lighthouse beam continued its gentle dance across the sleeping world beyond. The soft blanket of night. Oliver walked toward the comfortable bed and gently sat down. The blanket felt warm and soft, like a cloud touched by moonlight. He pulled it over himself and settled comfortably among the pillows. Outside the window, the stars continued to shine quietly. The lighthouse beam turned slowly across the sky. Everything felt calm. Everything felt safe. A gentle breeze brushed past the window, carrying the peaceful scent of the night. Oliver listened to the soft ticking of the clock nearby. Tick, tick, tick. Each sound seemed slower than the last. His eyes felt heavy. His breathing became calm and steady. The worries of the day had disappeared completely. Only comfort remained. Wrapped in the soft blanket of night, Oliver felt himself drifting gently toward sleep, surrounded by warmth, silence, and the quiet glow of the stars beyond the lighthouse windows. Drifting into dreams. As Oliver rested beneath the warm blanket, the room became even quieter. The soft, golden light of the lighthouse glowed gently around him. Outside, the stars shimmered peacefully in the endless night sky. The slow turning beam of the lighthouse moved across the clouds like a gentle lullaby. Oliver closed his eyes. He listened to the calm rhythm of his breathing, in and out, slowly, peacefully. The comfortable bed seemed to cradle him softly. The night air felt cool and refreshing. Far away, he imagined the quiet ocean, the moonlit bay, the glowing lanterns, and all the peaceful places he had visited on his journey. They drifted through his thoughts like gentle dreams. Everything felt warm, everything felt safe, and little by little, Oliver drifted deeper into sleep, carried by the quiet magic of the stars, the clouds, and the gentle light of the lighthouse. The ocean of dreams. As Oliver drifted deeper into sleep, he found himself floating upon a peaceful ocean made entirely of dreams. The water glowed softly with shades of silver and blue. Gentle waves carried him slowly across its calm surface. Above, the stars shone brighter than ever, filling the sky with a warm and comforting light. There was no wind, no noise, only the quiet rhythm of the dream ocean. The waves rose and fell gently, like a slow and steady breath. Oliver felt completely relaxed. The ocean seemed endless, stretching peacefully in every direction. Far away, tiny lights sparkled on the horizon. They glowed softly like distant memories and happy thoughts. Wrapped in comfort and calmness, Oliver continued to float across the ocean of dreams, carried by gentle waves toward even deeper rest and peaceful sleep beneath the endless stars. The shore of morning stars. The ocean of dreams carried Oliver gently onward through the peaceful night. After a long while, he noticed a quiet shoreline appearing in the distance. The sand sparkled softly beneath the starlight, as though tiny diamonds were scattered across the shore. The waves rolled in slowly and peacefully. Oliver stepped onto the warm sand and looked around. Everything was calm. Everything was still. Above him, the stars seemed closer than ever before. Some shimmered brightly. Others glowed with a gentle silver light. The air felt fresh and comforting. A soft breeze moved across the shoreline. Oliver walked slowly beside the water, listening to the gentle sound of the waves. There was no destination ahead, only peace, only rest, only the quiet beauty of the shore of morning stars, where dreams and sleep drifted together beneath the endless night sky. The last lantern. Walked along the shore of morning stars, he noticed a single lantern resting beside the water. Its golden light glowed softly in the quiet darkness. Unlike the many lanterns he had followed. Part 46. The Last Lantern. Walked along the shore of morning stars, he noticed a single lantern resting beside the water. Its golden light glowed softly in the quiet darkness. Unlike the many lanterns he had followed before, this one stood alone. A lantern did not move. It simply shined peacefully beside the gentle waves. Oliver sat nearby and watched its warm light dance across the sand. The ocean whispered softly as the waves touched the shore. Above, the stars sparkled like tiny diamonds scattered across the sky. The lantern's glow felt familiar, comforting, safe. It reminded him of every peaceful place he had visited during his journey. The lighthouse, the forests, the gardens, the clouds, the endless stars. Oliver smiled softly. The lantern continued to glow beside him, filling the quiet night with warmth and calmness as he relaxed deeper and deeper into a peaceful, dream-filled sleep. The gentle dawn. As Oliver rested beside the last lantern, the night remained peaceful and still. Far beyond the horizon, a very soft glow began to appear. It was not bright, it was not sudden, it was the gentle promise of a new day. The stars continued to shine quietly above. The ocean rolled softly against the shore. Everything moved in a slow and comforting rhythm. Oliver watched the faint light grow little by little. The sky changed from deep midnight blue to a softer shade of silver. The last lantern still glowed warmly beside him. Its light blended beautifully with the first colors of dawn. A cool breeze drifted across the beach. The air felt fresh and calm. Wrapped in peace and comfort, Oliver remained completely relaxed, listening to the waves and watching the gentle dawn arrive across the quiet sea. The golden horizon. As the gentle dawn continued to brighten the sky, a warm golden glow appeared along the horizon. The ocean reflected the light in soft ribbons of gold and silver. The waves moved slowly, carrying peaceful whispers across the shore. Oliver sat quietly beside the last lantern and watched the colors spread across the sky. Everything felt calm. Everything felt unhurried. The stars gradually faded, making room for the soft light of morning. A few clouds drifted lazily above the water, glowing with touches of gold. The lantern beside Oliver shined a little more softly now, as though it knew its journey was almost complete. The breeze remained gentle, the sea remained peaceful, and as the golden horizon stretched farther and farther across the world, Oliver felt completely at ease, resting comfortably between the quiet beauty of night and the gentle promise of a new day. The quiet goodbye. The golden light of morning continued to spread across the sky. The ocean sparkled softly beneath the growing dawn. Oliver stood slowly and looked around one last time. The peaceful shoreline stretched in every direction. The gentle waves rolled onto the sand. The cool breeze carried the fresh scent of the sea. Beside him, the last lantern glowed warmly. Its light had guided him through the night. Now, it seemed ready to rest. Oliver smiled and quietly thanked the lantern for its company. For a moment, the golden light flickered softly. Then it blended gently with the colors of the morning sky. Everything felt calm. Everything felt complete. There was no sadness, only peace, only gratitude. As Oliver gazed at the brightening horizon, he carried the comfort of his journey within him, like a warm and gentle dream that would stay with him long after the night had passed. A peaceful rest. The morning light grew softer and warmer across the horizon. Oliver took a slow, comfortable breath and listened to the gentle rhythm of the sea. The waves rolled peacefully onto the shore. The breeze moved softly through the air. Everything around him felt calm and still. His journey had carried him through moonlit bays, quiet forests, glowing gardens, floating clouds, shining stars, and peaceful dreams. Now, there was nowhere else to travel, nothing else to discover, only rest. Oliver sat quietly on the warm sand and watched the sunlight sparkle across the water. The world seemed wrapped in comfort. The sky above was clear and peaceful. The ocean below was calm and welcoming. With a gentle smile, Oliver closed his eyes once more, and surrounded by warmth, peace, and the memories of his beautiful journey, he drifted into a deep, restful sleep. The end.